Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Very happy to see you all. I want to thank Jack Heatery for bringing me a special cable that will make this experience even better than the other ones. Let's see, Jack, at the end if it was worth the whole thing. Thank you so much. I want to thank Kobe Asaraf also, because he's really on top of this and he's helping me with every detail of the flyers and the technicalities, and it's truly incredible. So thank you, anyone who helps for doing this. So tonight's subject I wanted to discuss with you is about, well, the title is Mashiach, False Alarm. Let me explain to you what happened in my thought process. And Be'ezrat Hashem, today we're going to study a lot of things and try to understand better an area of our religion that is not clear, that is difficult to understand, and I don't claim to have the answer and the understanding and the key. So let's see why I call this Mashiach false alarm. Let's go back about a month ago, before Pesach, when this whole Corona started, and after a week or two or three, that it was already a part of our lives. I would like to share with you 4 examples of what I call false information that was circulating. The most absurd one that I received is a video from a man who is saying, so again, this guy is making this video and he's saying on the video how the rainbow is the sign. He learned that in the Zohar, and now he's going outside, and sure enough, ladies and gentlemen, towards the end of the day, what does he see? The rainbow. He calls his family outside. He says to his wife, to his children, come see. I requested from God that if Mashiach will come, please show me the rainbow today. And sure enough, I saw the rainbow. The guy's almost crying on the video, and I'm like, this guy is crazy. Now, the problem is like this. Somebody sent me that video and said, the person who is sending the video is saying, this is unbelievable, everyone. This is real. Get ready for Mashiach. Now, I answered back to this person. I said, I thought Jesus was the last one who had visions. Well, apparently he wasn't the last one. Here you got this guy also had visions. It's a she got very upset. She said, what do you mean? This is a rabbi. I said, I'm sorry, but visions are dead. I don't believe in them. This is not the way it works. That was one big flop for me. I did not like this. The other day, I got a text from someone who tells me the Ramchal in Da'at Tevunot. They know that I studied the Ramchal. And in Da'at Tevunot, it's written that the Ramchal had a dream that before the coming of the Mashiach, synagogues will be closed. Ramchal says that he had a dream that before the Mashiach will come, all synagogues will be closed. So someone sends me the text and tells me, can you check Da'at Tevunot in the Ramchal? I'm like, I could check, but 415 perakim, like, you really want me to check that? I said, you don't have a source for that? I said, I don't remember. I learned that book, but I don't remember by heart. I don't remember the Ramchal saying that, but I could double check. Sure enough, a couple of minutes later, he calls me back and he says, well, it's not written in the Ramchal. Oh, okay, it's not written in the Ramchal. Very interesting. Then you have the Ralbad. Then you have someone who sends a text on the name of the Ralbad. We mentioned that before. First suspicion, I said I never heard of that name, Ralbad. Never heard of it. I heard Ralbag, but not Ralbad. Doesn't exist. Anyways, there it reads, Be'ikveta de Mashiach, before the Mashiach comes. Be'erev Pesach, before Pesach. And of course, a description very similar to what we're experiencing these days. And he says, Israel yoshvim batehem, when the Klal Israel is still in their houses, etc., etc. Where is that source? Who is the Ralbad? They're trying to sell cheap meat to us. Who is that? You have a source. Is it true? It's not true. Anybody who sends me the text, I'm like, did you search? Did you check? No, I got it from someone else. So why do you send it again? If you didn't check if it's true or not. I said, I guarantee it's not true. The fourth one, and then we'll move on, is someone who sends me before Pesach the following. And I must say that from all of them, the only one that really sounded a little bit like maybe it made sense was this one. And he was saying it's really, we're living the same situation as Bnei Israel before Yetziat Mitzrayim. Why? Because the day before Yetziat Mitzrayim, Bnei Israel were not allowed to leave their houses. You remember the story? They're inside their houses. They put the blood by the doorposts, and they're not allowed to leave the house. Ufasach Hashem al patei Bnei Israel. Here too, we are inside the houses. We can't leave. He says there in the text, we had to listen to our rabbis. They listened to Moshe. Okay, whatever that means. Makat Bechorot is an invisible makkah that killed many people. Similar to the virus, that is invisible makkah that hits a lot of people. This was a Friday. He says, tomorrow Shabbat will be the 10th of Nisan, which is exactly the Yetziat Mitzrayim, which was the 10th of Nisan on Shabbat. So Shabbat HaGadol this year is going to be the same date. Okay, that's interesting. Geula was at midnight. You do the Seder, you may be able to enjoy the Geula. That was the fourth one. Rabotai, there are people who, I don't know if they like to scare others or what the deal is exactly with people. But when you look at the sources, none of these sources is true. But I must say, they created, at least in my feeling, it created a little bit of fear. And I would like in tonight's class to share with you almost a personal experience. And it may be due to the fact that I have a very, very low level of faith, very low level of emunah. But when I ask myself a question, and I ask each one of you to be honest with yourself, you don't have to raise the hand, you don't have to put thumbs up, you don't have to do anything. You just have to close your eyes and to think and analyze in the deepest of yourselves. And try to be honest, not try to be fashionable, and don't try to be religious. Try to be honest. When you try to be honest, you ask yourself one question. Do I truly want the Mashiach to come? And there are two parts in that question. The first part in the question is simple. What we know of Mashiach, do we truly want the Mashiach to come? I'm going to be transparent and I'm going to be honest. In order to give you my perspective, I would like to ask a very, very small question. Is it ever possible for someone to wish for something that he doesn't know what it is? If I tell you there's a certain food in Turkey, right? There's a certain food in Turkey, it's called, I don't know, I don't have any Turkish name for food, so we call it the Turkish food, okay? It's a Turkish dish, and someone tells you it's delicious. They could give you the description of the world, Rabotai. They could tell you it's a dish, it's made out of this, it's made out of that. But there's a spice in there, it's a very Turkish spice, very specific to that mountain that these people live. Do you want that dish? I challenge anyone who is honest to say, yes, I want that dish. Really? You tell me that's humanly possible, that it's at all possible to want something that you don't know what it is? How could it be possible to want something you don't know what it is? It's impossible. If they tell you have to pray for Mashiach, no, but that's not the song. The song is, we want Mashiach now, we want... Really? I would like to stop anyone who is singing that song and ask him, do you really, really, truly want the Mashiach to come now? And if they say, yes, I do, then I would ask them, I don't understand, I have a question for you. What is it that you want? You want Mashiach? What is it? Do you know what it is? Did you ever meet him? Did you ever taste it? If you don't know what it is, how could you want something that you don't know? Now I'm trying to be honest here. And it's not only how is it possible to want something that you don't know, but it's also a little scary. Because anytime they tell you, you have to change everything you've known since you were born. And even more, it's since your parents were born, or your grandparents, and all generations. This is going to be a new era. It's going to be an era that is Kulo Shabbat. It's very spiritual. It's a moment you could meet God at a higher level. It's a very spiritual experience. As much description as you want to give, it makes it even worse because you get scared. Is it just me? That at one point I'm thinking and I'm saying, do I really want Mashiach? And I want to say, I don't really want Mashiach to come. I'm just being honest. Why? Because I like my life. I like my job. I like my family the way it is. I like my house. If I want to see Jerusalem and Israel, I see right here, you see my painting right here. So there are many reasons why I don't really, really want the Mashiach to come. Because it's the unknown. Because it's something that nobody knows. I don't know what it is. And I like what I know. When you like what you know, like any human being, and you don't know what the other one is, it's impossible, humanly speaking, to want something you don't know. And the more they explain to you, the more like, that's not my thing. But we were taught that you can't think like this. You're not allowed to. One of the 13 principles of the Rambam, you have to wait for Mashiach every single day, etc. But it makes things worse. It makes things much worse because I'm trying to be honest here, right? If I'm not honest, then what is it? You know, someone once asked, if you have to follow God or follow truth, which one would you pick? And I say, this is the worst question ever. If God is not truth, then it's not God. Torah, Hashem, truth, it's all the same. So I'm trying to be honest here. Want Mashiach. I have difficulty saying I want Mashiach to come. I have difficulty saying I'm craving the day that Mashiach will be here. It's difficult, and I'm being honest here. Now I would like to explain a little bit more why the example of the Turkish food is much better than the example of the Mashiach. Because the Turkish food, I could give a simple description of what it is. I'm going to tell you the ingredients, some of which you know, some you don't, but I could give a description and it's clear. It's a piece of meat, it's a vegetable side, and then you try to explain. And it's using terms that we understand, and it's pretty clear what it is. But Rabotai, I'm going to give you a few examples of how complicated and misleading this whole story of Mashiach is. Just for instance, the Gemara in Masechet Sanhedrin Daf Tzadik Het. The Gemara says, for example, just one example. The Gemara asks, Mashemo, what is the name of the Mashiach? The Gemara says several options. I'm just going to read the names that the Gemara says. Shila Shemo, could be called Shila, or Yinon, or Hanina, or Menachem ben Chizkiah, or Chivra de Berabi, which means the leper of Rabbi's house. There's a midrash in Mishle that the name of Mashiach is Eliyahu. The Or HaChaim HaKadosh says the name of the Mashiach is Chaim. Hold on. When I ask about the Turkish food, they tell me what it is. Here, they give me many, many names. When you read the Gemarot that talk about Mashiach, each opinion is different than the other. Every single one is different. You have so many opinions about what it is, about when it could be, how long is the world supposed to last. That it gets so much confusion in the brain of people. It's much harder to want the Mashiach, because now you ask a question to someone, do you want Mashiach? And they tell you, what is Mashiach? Who is that? What is it? Even more. If Mashiach is this time of Ruchaniyut, is this time of spirituality and closeness and a Shabbat-like experience with God, so then why do you need a human being called the Melech HaMashiach? Why do you need this person, this enigmatic person called the Messiah? Why does it have to be a person? It has to be an experience, not a person. Now, I don't have an answer to that, Rabotai. I just want to tell you that there are two midrashim. One in Midrash Shir HaShirim, and one is the Midrash Tanchuma. And both midrashim say, where HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes to the people and says, every time you had a redemption throughout history, it was through a human being. But the last redemption you're going to have is going to be me straight. No human beings in between. Oh my God. Now you get even more frustrated. So I don't understand. You tell me that it's a man. You give me 7 options or 8 options of names. Then there's other midrashim that tell you, no, it's not really a man. Mashiach is an experience. It's God coming to reveal himself to the world. It's going to be clear that on that day, everyone will proclaim together and say, God is one, amen. But you tell me somewhere else that it's a man. So it's so confusing. What is the time of Mashiach? So the pasuk tells you, Ki az ehepoch el amim safa berura. I will make the peoples pure of speech. Tzefania perek gimel pasuk tet. It's in Tzefania, in the 3rd chapter, the 9th verse. And there it says, I will make people pure of speech, so that they all invoke Hashem by name. So it's an experience of spirituality and closeness with God. But then you read in the Rishonim, what is life when Mashiach will come? And sometimes it tells you, well, it's not really any difference with now. Just Shibud Malchuyot, which means that we'll be the Switzerland of the world. People will respect us. But other descriptions of the time of the Mashiach is much, much more spiritual and more elevated and more separated from what we know. And again, you fall into confusion. And you're like, what is this Mashiach? There's even one shita that I don't want to spend too much time on, because all the Rishonim said that halakha is not like this. But the Gemara in Masechet Sanhedrin says on the name of Rav Hillel that the Mashiach already came at the time of Yechezkel. So don't wait for the Mashiach. He's not going to come. What? I know you're thinking, what is this rabbi talking about? This is Gemara Mefureshet. I'm not, it's in Daf Tzadik Chet, and in Daf Tzadik Tet, twice it says. I said before, we don't follow this shita apparently, but that's what it says in the Gemara. I'm just showing you how confusing it is, because the Gemara itself There's so many shitot already from the time of the Tanaim, the Amoraim, the Rishonim, the Acharonim, the Mikubalim, everyone. And they have different perspective what Mashiach is supposed to be. So I'm repeating my question, it's even more complicated. How in the world am I supposed to want something that I don't know what it is? And even when you tell me a description, there are many different conversations on what it is. So it's not clear. So if you go back to the example of this Turkish menu, it's like if somebody tells you, oh, it's this meat with this vegetable, and someone says, no, it's not meat, it's fish. And the other one says, well, it's not hot, it's cold. And the other one says, no, it's not spicy, it's sweet. At one point you say, hey guys, make up your mind, come back to me with what the description it is, and maybe I want to go to Turkey just to eat that dish. So we don't know what it is. It's scary to change lifestyle. When you think about Mashiach and they tell you, we're all going to have to move to Israel. Like, oops, I don't know if I'm ready for that. I mean, I like Miami. I'm fine here, you know. You want me to move to Israel? I like Israel, but it's scary. Change lifestyle. Rabotai, anyone who tells you Mashiach will come at this state is wrong. The Gemara in Masechet Sanhedrin, Daf Tzadik Zayin Amud Bet. Amar Rav Shmuel bar Nachmani, Amar Rabbi Yonatan. This Chacham says on the name of Rabbi Yonatan, Tipach Atzaman Shel Mechasheve Kitzin. May the bones of people who predict the times of Mashiach be blasted. Be blasted. May their bones be blasted. שהיו אומרים, כיוון שהגיע הקץ ולא בא. Because they used to say, these chachamim, once the moment that they predicted, that was going to be the moment of the Mashiach, but the Mashiach did not come, shuv eno ba. People would say, oh, he was supposed to come between Rosh Chodesh Nisan and Rosh Chodesh Iyar, and he didn't come, he's not coming anymore. Unfortunately, there are many people who are simple-minded. And you tell them a date, and they hear very important people saying certain things, or people they feel are very important, and then they like the big turn-off. Can you imagine this person who sent me that video? She was all excited, and Mashiach, for sure, it's for sure. And in the video it said, you know, it's 100%. Mashiach is coming, that's it, it's done. It's a done deal. Can you imagine when Rosh Chodesh Iyar came? The whole world didn't say Tachanun. This person probably said Tachanun on that day. Are you not supposed to fast on Rosh Chodesh? I'm sure this person fasted on Rosh Chodesh. The whole prediction fell apart. This is very deceptive. A lot of people have, you know, high expectations, and then the day comes and but nothing. They get very upset. It's very upsetting, says the Gemara. Whoever tells you dates, the Gemara says a curse for these people. You should never do that. The Rambam in Ilchot Melachim, he quotes this Gemara. He says, Kol elu hadevarim, all these things, lo yada adam ech yiyu ad sheyiyu. Nobody knows what it will be until it will be. שדברים סתומים הן אצל הנביאים. Because this is a very obscure subject, even for the Nevi'im, even for the prophets. גם החכמים, אין להם קבלה בדברים אלו. The Chachamim also have no tradition when it comes to this topic. The Rambam says nobody knows what it is. And even more, or even less, better said, even less when it is. It's a worthless exercise to try saying Mashiach will come. We're hearing the steps of the Mashiach. I even did a little study on, you know, when they tell you, that's it, this is the Mashiach, you know, we're the last time before the Mashiach. Do you know for how long this rhetoric of this is now the Mashiach? You know when this rhetoric started? I'll tell you when. In the 1st century Josephus, he already says people in the street are saying Mashiach is about to come. In the 5th century, Moses of Crete, he says people in the street are saying Mashiach is coming. And I'm going to skip. Every generation, people were hoping for Mashiach to come, so they said some signs and some wonders are coming. So I'm not here to say yes or no. That's not our job. I'm just here asking a question. How do you want us to want something that we don't know what it is? How do you want us to want something when we're afraid of the unknown? Because if it would be known, so then I have no problem jumping. If you don't tell me where to go, if you don't tell me what it is, how do you want me to even use my imagination to try to picture something of what it is? And now they tell you, want it. It's impossible in my language. And I'm being transparent, I'm being honest. I'm not playing the guy, I'm not playing any game here. And I challenge somebody who says, oh, I want Mashiach. So I would tell that person, you're an amazing person, maybe your emunah is way bigger than mine. I have difficulty with this. I don't fully understand what Chachamim wanted from us when they said, you have to want Mashiach. How in the world are you supposed to want Mashiach when you don't know what it is? Not only me, even you Chachamim didn't know what it was. The Rambam says it. The Chachamim do not have a tradition on that. Lo LaChachamim en bahem leKabbalah bidvarim elu. Even the Chachamim don't have a Kabbalah on that. Want Mashiach. There must be something deeper, Rabotai. Something stronger. In order to enter that thing stronger, I'm going to ask another question. As we know, part of the coming of the Mashiach is also with the construction of the third Bet HaMikdash. And again, I'm going to ask you the question. Do you want a third Bet HaMikdash? Now, let's talk a little bit about the description of what the Bet HaMikdash is. Let's study a Rambam, and let's ask the question again. What is the Bet HaMikdash? Well, the main function of the Bet HaMikdash is for korbanot, for the services inside the Bet HaMikdash. The main services inside the Bet HaMikdash is sacrifices. Okay? Do you picture yourselves, ladies and gentlemen of the 21st century, that when you did an offense, when you did something wrong, you're going to have a little notepad, of course not with a pen. These days, pen amuktzeh, you can't use a pen. You only use on your phone, right? And you're going to keep a count. Maybe there's going to be an app. The app, it's going to be called iKorbanot. In iKorbanot pad, whatever, app, anytime you do Isur B'Shogeg, they're going to put a little reminder. You have one more Korban Hatat you have to bring. You have, if you did something that you have to bring Korban Olah, you have a Korban Olah. At the end, you come to Jerusalem for Pesach, and you bring a couple of animals with you. You bring them to Bet HaMikdash, and then you do Korbanot. Do you crave these moments? Because I personally, I don't. Again, I'm trying to be as honest as possible. I don't see myself bringing a sacrifice. You bring an animal. I don't know. I don't feel any connection with a cow. The only connection I have with the cow is when I see a piece of steak on my plate. But to bring an animal, again, I'm trying to be as simple as possible. And you try to tell people, pray for the third Bet HaMikdash. Okay, what is in there? Sacrifices. You bring your cow, they do the korbanot, and you are expiated. Rabotai, I don't know about you. Again, it's probably my low level of faith, but I don't get it. Maybe at the time of the Bet HaMikdash, when it was there, it was more clear. People were more connected to the animal world, to the korbanot world. I don't know. I just don't know what it is. But you ask me, you want to bring a sacrifice? Not really. We don't have a connection with that world of sacrifices. Now, I'm going to add a little bit more because you may say, this rabbi, is a little too simple-minded. You have to have more emunah than that. Okay, I get it. The Rambam, in Moreh HaNevuchim, he has a very, very interesting piece. I'm going to share it with you by heart. The Rambam asks really a fundamental question about the function of this Beit HaMikdash. I mean, for a religion that preaches no seeing any idol, not being connected to anything physical, why in the world would you need a temple? Why do you need to bring sacrifices? Who needs sacrifices? God doesn't need sacrifices. Do you need sacrifice? Why do you need something physical? You're serving a God that you don't see. Now, just to add a little bit of fuel on the fire, when you look at the structure of the Beit HaMikdash, there's gold. The old things that seem to be, they keep on telling us, Olam Hazeh is not important. Spirituality is more important than materialism. But materialism, well, it's full of it inside the Beit HaMikdash. The Beit HaMikdash, the rich structure, beautiful, beautiful structure, marble and gold and silver and all the riches are there in Beit HaMikdash. Really, I need such a beautiful structure for what? For a religion that is not idol-based, is not the eye. We say Shema Israel. It's all about listening, about imagining. We don't need something physical. And what do we tell you? Oh, here, there's a beautiful structure. What is it? It hosts the Shekhinah. And what do you do there? You bring korbanot. The Rambam asked the question, how is it possible? How is it at all possible that we do something, and that's the next layer of thought, that we do something that is so close to idol worshipping? Because in idol worshipping, it was the same thing. They used to bring sacrifices to the idol. We learn a lot of halachot from one to the other. What is done in the Beit HaMikdash is very similar to Bet Avodat Kochavim. So the Rambam asked the question, why would you do something so similar to the Goyim? You're trying to fight Avodah Zarah, you do something similar to Avodah Zarah? Who needs that? At the time, all the pagan idolaters, they bring the korbanot, they bring it to they bring their sacrifice, the idols. Why would you do that? You're playing with fire. It's very similar what you're doing here. The Rambam says something extraordinary. The Rambam says, see, at the time, they were dealing with this. And how do you deal with Avodah Zarah? Can you just come to people and say, hey, no more Avodah Zarah, finished. Don't do any services to the idol, don't do anything with them. Says the Rambam, it's not going to work. You think people are going to stop doing Avodah Zarah just like this? So you have to understand the Jewish people, they grew up around a spirituality that may not be the spirituality of the Torah, but it's a spiritual experience to bring a sacrifice to an idol, to do Avodah Zarah. I'll take 2 minutes out of the subject for a reason. I used to live in a building on Collins Avenue, the Champlain Towers North. In that building, downstairs, the guard of Shabbat was a lady, and she did some things for us. She opened the door, sometimes she did the elevator, whatever the goyim do. And one day, she has a shirt open, and I see a Magen David. I'm like, oh my God, Ribono Shel Olam, all these years she did melachot for us. She's a Jew. So I go to her, I'm like, Dennis, why do you have a Magen David? What is this thing? Are you Jewish? She tells me, well, a little bit. I'm like, oh. When they start telling you a little bit and then you find out they are, or something like this. I'm like, how are you a little bit Jewish? What does that mean? But I listen to this. She tells us that her grandfather ran away from Nazi Germany. He was a Jew. He was a young man. He jumped into a boat by himself. He had no idea where he was going. He hid inside the boat, and the boat took him to Colombia. He had no idea where he was. He just got out of there. He walked, made it to a certain village, And that's where he settled. This man was 100% Yehud. He was a Jew. He was there in that Colombian village. In that Colombian village, there was no other Jew. And after a little bit of time, he said his story to his children, his grandchildren. He says he needed some spirituality. So what did he do? He went to church. He went to church to look for some spirituality because he was craving spirituality. And they told him this is the spiritual place. So he went to church to pray. At the beginning, he was praying his prayers of tefillah that he learned back then in Germany inside the church, because that was the most spiritual connection he could get. After a little bit of time, he learned about the customs of the Christianity, and he was the only Jew there. He started making friends there, and before you know it, he started serving and doing like Christians. He always said, I'm a Jew, I'm a Jew. But he was doing what everyone was doing. What did you want from a guy like this? To marry a nice Jewish girl? There are no nice or not nice Jewish girls. There are no Jewish boys either. He's the only Jew in the whole place. Meanwhile, he has no idea what's going on in Europe, and good for him, because nothing pretty was happening in Europe. But sure enough, he had to marry a local girl. And I don't remember if they had a boy or a girl who was the father or the mother of this person. It doesn't matter, because anyways, his wife was Goya. And she's the granddaughter. And she says, not to forget that I always wear the Star of David. Like, thank God you could continue doing melachot for us. You know, when the God downstairs of your building is not what you think is, when you find out the Jewish, you have to move building. You have to go to another place, because that's not going to work. But you see how spirituality could change from one to the other. The Rambam says, in order to eradicate avodah zarah from the heart of the people, HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'chokhmato, he knew he had to do something similar to it, but with kedusha. Instead of saying, don't do avodah zarah, do something that has nothing to do with the visual. He says, no, the problem is because we are visual. So we're going to need a structure, we're going to need sacrifices, we're going to need something that is similar to us. Something that we know, something that talks to us. And instead of being betum'ah, instead of being impure, let's make it the same system almost, but pure and kosher. But this is a revolution. He's saying basically, in order to fight something negative, do the same but in positive. Don't do the opposite. Try to be as similar because the person knows it. Since they knew avodah zarah, therefore he did something similar to this. And that's how slowly they got away, because it's as if Moshe comes to them and says, look, it's not so different. It's just that instead of doing it to Vishnu or to Baal or to God or to Baal Peor, you do it to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There's no idol, but there's gold all over the place. You even have cherubims inside the Kodesh HaKodashim. And you have Mizbeach, an altar like you have in Avodah Zarah. And you're going to bring your sacrifice the same way you used to do it. But instead of thinking this is for the idol that is worthless, you're doing this to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And you have to imagine, Hashem is Kol Yachol. Hashem is not something you could see, something you could touch, something you could feel. It's something Ruchani. And that's how you eradicate the Avodah Zarah from the heart of the people, says the Rambam. I felt that this was an extraordinary explanation. But if that's true, Rabotai, I ask a question. Do we need a Bet HaMikdash today? I think we've eradicated the Avodah Zarah. So somebody comes to you and tells you the beautiful pshat of the Rambam, and you say, hold on. If that was the point, at this point, we don't have a struggle with Avodah Zarah. Do I need a third Bet HaMikdash? So number one, I don't know, sacrifices, it's a little archaic, it's a little old-fashioned. We don't bring animals on the altar. Number two, the Rambam tells you, well, it makes sense what you had as a feeling, because back then they used to do it, but for Avodah Zarah. Now instead of doing it for Avodah Zarah, doing it for Kedusha. Okay, but then now my question is even stronger. I don't feel that we have any connection with that kind of a world. And the Rambam says it even, because the Rambam tells you it was only to eradicate the Avodah Zarah. So how do you want me to want the Beit HaMikdash? How do you want me to want the Mashiach? How do you want me to do something that I don't know, that I don't adhere with, that I don't connect with, I don't even know what it is, that the description is so blurry, that the Gemara goes back and forth and so many shitot, and the Rambam tells you nobody knows what it is, there are no traditions on this. How are we supposed to do that? Rabotai, in order to answer all the above, I would like to give you a simple mashal. In many couples, it happens. I'm no exception to the rule. Every couple has differences between husband and wife. For example, one likes it cold, the other one likes it hot. How cold is the air conditioning? Some put it at 70, the other one tells you, I'm freezing. Put it at 77. Like, what? From 70 to 77? I put it at 67. Okay. Then it's time to go out for dinner. Where do you want to go? Oh, I want to go to eat dairy. Dairy? I want to eat meat. Yeah, but I want to eat dairy. No, but I want to eat meat. So where do you go? Meat or dairy? We're going to go on vacation. Where do you want to go? Some people love going to places they know. So if you went, I love going to places I know. I don't like going to places I don't know. I don't know, I'm afraid of that. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I'm going to like it. You have to find a hotel. You don't know if it's in the center of town, if you're far. You hear recommendations. You don't know how to move around. I mean, these days it's a little easier, I understand, but I don't know. The fear of the unknown. I like skiing. I like skiing in the same mountain. Why? Because I know already my way around. I know which trails I like. If it's the black, if it's the blue, if it's the... I know my way around. You want to take me to another state, to another mountain? Some people love it. Oh, it's a new discovery. I like to know new places. Some people I like old. Let's go on vacation. Where do you want to go? Oh, I want to go there. No, I want to go to the city. No, I want to go to the mountain. I want to go to the beach. And you're always going to have things like this. That's at the beginning. But then you grow up a little bit and you say, if I love the other person in front of me, then I want to go where the other person wants to go. Not because I like the destination, but because I love the other person. And loving the other person means that what the other person's like, what the other person likes, is what I want. Not because I like it, because I like her. So if my wife likes to go out for dairy, and I like to go out for meat, I want to go out for dairy. Not because I like dairy, but because I love this person in front of me. And since this person enjoys dairy, it becomes what I want. And that's the answer to all the above. Rabotai, there are things I truly believe we don't understand. You really think Chachamim wanted us to crave for the coming of the Mashiach? It's impossible. How do you want me to want the Mashiach to come? We said before, I don't know what it is. It's scary, all the above. You read these things, oh my God, Mashiach is going to come in a few days. Maybe it's true, this whole Corona thing, the Mashiach is going to come. Like, oh my God, do I really want the Mashiach to come? Or just let me go back, like we said last week, not go back, go forward to normal. But fine, some changes, but to change completely, we're going to have to move to Israel and the Mashiach and the Korbanot. What is it? I feel no connection there. And maybe it's very sad what I'm saying. But 2,000 years of not having any connection with the Beit HaMikdash and things like this. What do you want from us? And God says, I just want one thing. If our connection is strong, if our connection is a loving connection, then when I come and I tell you I'm inviting you on a trip, And you tell me where is the destination, and I tell you unknown. Do you close your eyes and you come with me? It depends. If you trust me and if you love me, you do. If you don't, you say, hold on. I need to know the destination. I need to know when. I need to know how. I need to know what time is the plane. I need to know if we're going to have masks or not. I need to know a lot of details. And here God says, thank you. That was not the deal. I don't want you to want Mashiach. I want you to want what I want. And that's called blind faith or blind love. Hashem tells you, do you think I'm going to take you on something that is not good? And really expects to say, I don't know. But I don't need to check it. I don't need to put my stamp on it. I don't need to okay it. I just need to trust you. God does not want us to crave the Bet HaMikdash. How in the world are we supposed to crave the Bet HaMikdash when we don't know what it is and we don't relate to bringing animals and blood over the place? That's not how we're educated. That's not who we are. But Hashem wants you to tell him, Hashem, if that's what you want, then it becomes what I want, not because I want it, but because I want you. And if you like dairy, then I like dairy, but not because I like dairy, but because you like dairy. And that's the true declaration of love. Because if I go out with you because I also love dairy, then I'm not going for you, I'm going for me. Maybe the less is known about the Bet HaMikdash, the better. Maybe the less is known about the Mashiach, the better. Because if I want Mashiach for the Mashiach, then I don't want Mashiach because Hashem told me to want Mashiach. And that is the only answer I could offer you. Do I crave Mashiach to come for a new era and for... No, I don't. I'm sure that tzaddikim would do. I'm not in that category. I'm a simple man. I just know one thing. I like feeding my kids. I like spirituality and to try to serve Hashem in the conditions that we have. But if you're born a certain way and you grow up a certain way, so you try to do that better. But to change completely my life and to want it, it's very hard. You really think any human being could do that? Again, there are great tzaddikim who probably do, but I'm definitely not that. And I'm sure a few people in the audience are probably at the same level as me. So what is it that we want? We want one thing. It's called trust. Don't listen to anyone telling you when it's going to come and what it's going to look like. Nobody knows. What is the third Bet HaMikdash? Nobody knows. What is the time of Mashiach? Nobody knows. And guess what? The less we know, the better. We just have to want it because Hashem says it's good and He wants it. That's my avodah. In the Lashon of the Zohar, it's called Shechinta Begaluta, because God is suffering. Oh, He's suffering? It doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter because I'm not understanding. I'm from a different era. I'm a different planet. He's from planet spirituality. I'm from planet Earth. How do you want me to connect with that? To want that? It's impossible. What we need to do is to look at this and say, Hashem, if that's what you want, that's what I want. But not because I love dairy. I would prefer eating meat. But if you love dairy, then I love dairy because I love you because you love dairy. And that's the avodah we do when we pray for the Mashiach. When we pray for the Bet HaMikdash to be rebuilt. We are so far from that it's almost impossible. Ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to express my heart. I don't know if I'm right or wrong. Maybe I am wrong. But in my heart, it's very, very, very difficult to say, I mean when I say I want the Mashiach to come. It's just not, I don't know. Maybe I have a problem. And again, many people will disagree with me. But it's far from me. It's hard. It's scary. It's the unknown. I don't know. It's just not what I truly want. I'm trying to be honest here. And the same with the Bet HaMikdash. So when I pray for the Bet HaMikdash to be rebuilt, when I pray for the Mashiach to come, I pray to Hashem and I say, whatever you have in plan for me, bring it whenever you want, however you want, in the form you want. I'm in. I'm a game player. I'm on your team. And since I know you want the best for me and for everyone, therefore, I'm in. Because you know what you're doing. Ladies and gentlemen, for me this is a very, very important topic. Because it's honest, it's genuine, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope it could clarify a little bit the doubts of people. For me it helped. I thank you very much for attending, and we'll see you another time. Shabbat Shalom Mevorach to all. It was nice to see you. Sometimes I see a lot of black squares, but I understand the connectivity. I'm so sorry about that. But be well. Shabbat Shalom Mevorach to all of you. If you have any comments or anything, you could send me a text, 305-772-5959. Shabbat Shalom, and be well. Berachot, blessings, and may Mashiach and Bet HaMikdash come promptly. Whenever Hashem wants, we are game player. We'll be a part of this project. Shabbat Shalom, be well.